The last step is to prepare for print. So as I keep saying, before you go anywhere near printing, you want to make sure that your links are all connected. This little square box means that I have embedded them. So I know they are there and there's no caution or question mark signs highlighted in color. There's this grayed out one. And so the next thing I need to do is prepare my front and back cover. So I'm going to go to my first spread, and I'm going to Option Command 0 to fit the whole spread on the page. I'm going to make sure to use my black arrow and select everything. Now, if you've been doing work in InDesign, like let's say you've added something in InDesign, like another element, let me give it a color. Okay. So you may think that it'll be hard to separate those elements out. So let's say we had a couple of those. It's no problem if you've added text or something else in InDesign. We are going to select this entire thing. So if you have been working in layers, check your layers and make sure that all the layers that you need are unlocked so that when you copy and paste it, it'll come with. I don't have any layers, so I'm fine. So I want to make sure that I'm actually on this page, and I'm going to do a select all. Object select. Oh, wait, that's not the same thing. It's Command A. So Command A will select all, and then I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to double click on page 1, and I'm going to do a paste in place. Then I'm going to scroll down to the last page. If you don't have one, just add one more page. It should be a lonely page by itself. And you'll also do a paste in place there. So notice that this is the actual page. This is outside of the printable area. So this is your back. This should be your back page. And this should be your front cover. So you want to look for the artboard, or if you do a Command 0, it'll put that page in the middle. Make sure this is your front cover and that your back cover's down there at the bottom. Once we have the covers in place there, we can then delete these two, the two original pages from the design spreads. So I am shift-clicking on those two pages in order to select them both, and then I'm going to put them in the trash. So now I should have, you can really see it here in the Pages palette. It doesn't show you the other half of the page, even though we know it's outside of the artboard area. So you should see the cover, first spread, second spread, third spread, back cover. Okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and save as, and put down in this one that it's for print, and put it in my same folder. Then you can, some copy shops will let you print directly from the InDesign file as a booklet, but I'm going to show you how to prepare the print spreads as PDF. So you go to File, and you go all the way down to the bottom. I don't know if you can see this in the video, but just below Print, there's Print Booklet. You'll click on that. Then there's a few things we're going to have to do here. The first is to go down to the bottom. Okay, again, there's a few things outside of the video area. So straight down from here, there's Print Settings. I'm going to open up Print Settings, and then I'm going to get another dialog box. And here under Printer, I'm going to select PostScript. And then under PPD, I'm going to select one of these are the printers from school, something that has a tabloid size on it, so that when I go to setup, that tabloid is available. If you don't see that right away, then you can temporarily switch over to one of like the Pro Colors, then select the tabloid, and then go back and change this to PostScript. You want to check that your tabloid size is horizontal, that your width is 100% by 100%, not scale to fit, and down under page position, you can center the page. Then go to marks and bleeds and select crop marks. That's very important for cutting. Without those, if you have, you wouldn't know where to cut off the bleed. Then let's go back through here. It will probably automatically be checked to use the document bleed settings. It shows that it's 0.125. Everything looks good here. Go to general. And okay, so the PostScript file is going to make a temporary in-between file called, it's going to be .ps. And then we're going to need to open up that PostScript file and convert it to a PDF. So this is the first step. So this was just the printer setup. So I'm going to go ahead and go down to the bottom where it says OK. And it brings me back into the print booklet dialog box. Here, I just want to double check that I am printing a PostScript, that I'm doing all pages. It's a 2-up saddle stitch. And the default here is fine. And then you can go to preview. And this is where you'll really be able to see what's going on with the pages. So here you should see your cover put back together. And you see there's little numbers here. So this tells you that in your document, this was page 1 and this was page 8 because we moved it to the front and the back. But as a booklet, it knows how to set it up so that this will print on one side and the correct thing will print on the other side. So if I go to the next one, you'll see it starts to look really weird. So here I've got page 2 and page 7. Well, think about it. If your cover is technically page 1, this is our last page where you start. Page 2 is your introductory page. Then, and that's going to be your cover. And then the other pages are going to be printed front to back, and they're going to be slipped in here, and then staples are going to go down the middle here. So this should be your last page, or the second part of your conclusion page. Then I go to the next page. So these first 2 pages, that and that, they get printed back to back. Then here we have parts of our other pages, and they will be in the correct order. And if you've done more than 4 spreads, then you can it'll just be printing front to back, the first and the second, the third and the fourth, the fifth and the sixth, the seventh and the eighth, or however many pages you did. And those will line up. So, and that's it. And then you're going to go down to the bottom and say print. You can't see it, but there's a little print button here. And because we requested a PostScript file, instead of printing it, it creates a virtual print. So it's creating a PS file here. Doesn't matter whether you leave InDesign on or you can take it off, as long as it says .ps. I'm just going to leave it and put it into your book project folder, and then hit save. Then I go into my Finder, and I'm going to locate that PS file. So there it is. And one thing you should know is that if you make a change to your booklet and you need to do this process again, it's a good idea to delete the PS file before you make a new one. I made one earlier, so this is probably my earlier one. For some reason, it doesn't tend to do a replace. So I'm going to go ahead and if I have preview on my computer, I should be able to just double click this. And it's going to, okay, let's see. I already did this, so I'm going to go through the process of deleting this so you can see what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this, print this again. InDesign. So File, Print Booklet. All my settings will be the same, so I'm going to go ahead and print, save my PS file, replace. It was that it was a different file, that was why, different name. Okay, that was that PS file I wanted. Okay, Book 3 Print, PS, double click that, it opens it up in preview and it starts converting it to PDF form, but it has not saved it yet, so you're going to have to save it. But first we can take a look through it and see that, okay, I've got page 1, page 2, page 4, well, not page, spread 1, spread 2, spread 2. So these are printer spreads, and like I've been telling you, they're going to look a little weird. Now, you want to see these crop marks. If you've gotten to the point where you've made your PS file and you don't see your crop marks, you need to go back to InDesign, Print Booklet, Printer Setup, and under the second one down, what's it called? Setup, I think. You want to make sure you've chosen crop marks. So this then just needs to be saved. And I just want to make sure I put it in the right place. Expand this little box, find my book project, and format PDF. Another thing you can't see down here at the bottom, it says hide extension. So it is not putting the .pdf at the end. I always like to have that so that it automatically opens in the right application. So I'm going to uncheck that. So just so you know, it's in this direction, it's down in the lower right-hand corner, and it's hide extension or uncheck it to have the extension show. Then I'm going to save that. And now I should find it here, right next to my PS file. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight it. In the Finder, if you scroll the way down the bottom, you have some choices of colors so that I know that this little dot tells me this is the guy I'm going to print. So now it opens up in Acrobat. And from here, if you want to do a test print on the school computers, in Acrobat you always have to first choose the paper size. So you choose which document you're going to send it to, and then you want to make sure it's not fit but 100%. And you don't want to do booklet in this case because we've already created a booklet. So, page setup, that's what I was looking for. Okay, just want to make sure that I have the right paper size. So there's a page setup down in the lower left. And I'm going to choose the printer I want, and choose the size I want, and choose the directionality or orientation. And always making sure that it's at 100%. And now it would be ready to do a test print. You could also do this in Acrobat by, if you have a printer at home, by doing a fit to page just to see a sample. And then what you do is you just glue the first 2 pages together and then the next 2 pages together in sets of 2, and then fold them, and you'll begin to see how they work together. And then you'll bring the final PDF to the copy shop and ask them to print it double-sided and staple it in the center. Okay, that's it. Good luck.